Hello and welcome to Meet the Candidates on BLTV Channel 6. I'm Raymond Adcock, and today we are visiting with Tim Pirtle. He is a candidate for District Attorney for the 31st Judicial District of Warren and Van Buren counties. Tim, welcome to Meet the Candidates.
Thank you very much, Raymond. I appreciate the invitation.
Great to have you on our program. Tim, tell the viewers who may not know who you are about growing up here in McMinnville.
Well, Raymond, I was born and raised in this community. My mom, Joyce Pirtle, my dad, Jack Pirtle, and I have 4 siblings, 3 brothers and a sister. We grew up in somewhat humble circumstances, I suppose. Our dad, Jack, worked at a service station, and mother worked at Genesco Shoe Factory, trying to make a living and raise 5 children. I'm sure it was a struggle for them, but we never went without anything. Wow. I was influenced significantly by their work ethic. And I was also influenced a great deal by my scoutmasters, R.L. Cope and A.J. Gully. And finally, I guess, the other most important influence in my life, and that of my siblings, was Brother James Vandiver, who taught us the most important lessons from the pulpit at Westwood. I came back to McMinnville after graduation from law school. My father had unfortunately passed away suddenly and unexpectedly while I was in my 2nd year of law school. So I initially came back to help my mom wrap up things, and I found so many opportunities to practice law on my return that I never thought about leaving.
Good stuff. And that really resonated with me when I heard about your mom working at Genesco. My mom and dad and grandparents had worked there. And it was good to know that Tim Pirtle had some pretty basic roots here in McMinnville too. Yeah,
we go back at least 3 generations. My grandparents, George and Rachel Green, raised 11 children in this community.
Wow.
My granny Pirtle raised 7 children after being widowed at a very early age. And all 3 of my grandparents were very positive role models for us as kids.
Your roots run very deep here in Warren County.
Very deep.
Tim, why are you seeking the office of District Attorney?
Well, I've been in the private practice of law for 35 years, since 1978, and I have truly been blessed with the confidence of lots of clients, going back to the first year I practiced law in 1978. I had the opportunity to try a murder, a rape, and a bank robbery my very first year out of law school. In fact, I was trying the bank robbery case the week that I got my bar results that I had passed the bar examination. After having been given so many opportunities by so many clients to make a living, to raise my family and educate our boys, I came to the conclusion that it was time for me to give something back to the community. And although a government job is not as lucrative as the private practice of law has been to me, it truly is a situation where I felt fundamentally that it was a time for me to give back.
Tim, a couple things concern you. You point out that 1/2 of the criminal charges brought in 2012-2013 were either dismissed or the DA's office decided not to prosecute.
One of the recurring criticisms that I have heard from the law enforcement community is that the current district attorney's office has not been aggressive enough in the prosecution of cases. And in fact, the Tennessee Supreme Court publishes statistics that are required by law to be reported by the court clerks across the state. And those statistics are compiled and reported by the Office of the Administrator of the Courts on an annual basis. The last year for which those statistics are currently available, which is the fiscal year 2012-2013, a full year, show that the District Attorney's Office for the 31st Judicial District dismissed or elected not to prosecute nearly half of the criminal cases that had been brought by law enforcement. A much lesser percentage of those cases brought by law enforcement resulted in any kind of plea agreement or conviction on trial. What is perhaps more bothersome to me is how the statistics break down. On the campaign trail, I have heard my opponent on numerous occasions comment on the fact that she has a special full-time DUI prosecutor. The breakdown of the statistics reported through the Tennessee Supreme Court show, however, that during a full year, there were only 3 jury trials of a DUI case, and the special DUI prosecutor lost 2 out of those 3. When you consider the total number of cases under the DUI law that were brought, 31 cases were dismissed, and only 36 cases resulted in either pleas of guilty or convictions. I'm bothered by those statistics. I do not think that those statistics support the proposition that a special DUI prosecutor is a good investment of the office's money and resources.
Tim, if elected to the position, how do you propose to change that?
Well, the first thing I plan to do is establish a drug task force. This judicial district does not have a drug task force. As I've told the voters, I am tired of hearing my hometown referred to as Meth-Minville, and I'm tired of the nursery capital of the world being referred to as the meth capital of the state of Tennessee. You know, we find resources for a special DUI prosecutor who tries 3 cases in a given year, but we do not have resources for a drug task force. And it's been brought to my attention that some contention has been made by my opponent that there is in fact a drug task force. I beg to differ. And I suggest that anyone who has any doubt about that fact talk to their law enforcement officers known to them, or consult the District Attorney General's Conference for the state of Tennessee, which happens to be chaired last year by a career prosecutor in Manchester, Tennessee, Mickey Lane. General Lane served as the chair of the Tennessee District Attorney's Conference last year. The official website for the District Attorney General's Conference lists the members of the Drug Task Force in every judicial district. The 31st Judicial District, Warren and Van Buren County, has no list because it has no Drug Task Force.
Tim, you've made a couple of promises, a couple of things that you would like to change. One of those being expanding office hours at the DA's office here in McMinnville, and another setting up an office in Van Buren County.
Well, the current office hours for the District Attorney office in McMinnville, which is the only District Attorney's office, are painted on the door. The hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And at 4 p.m., the phones are turned off. The office also closes for lunch from 12 to 1. That's a 7-hour workday. We have a scenario where nearly half the cases brought by law enforcement are not prosecuted, and we have an office that is working 7 hours a day. There are 7 assistant district attorneys in that office. So when you combine those 7 lawyers with the district attorney, you have 8 lawyers manning that office. I understand that there are approximately 22 total staff members. I would use those resources to expand the hours of operation so that victims of crimes, law enforcement, witnesses, other participants in the criminal justice system have reasonable access to the office. On the other hand, Spencer and the county of Van Buren lack any district attorney resources. My first official act of office, if elected in Van Buren County, will be to open an office in Spencer and to staff it full-time. That will include not only for the prosecution of criminal cases, but also for assistance that people in Van Buren County need to collect delinquent child support. It is fundamentally unfair for people who live in Van Buren County to have to get in a car and drive down the mountain to McMinnville every time they are the unfortunate victim of a crime or need to pursue a defaulting parent with regard to child support obligations.
Mr. Pirtle, we only have about a minute of the program left. If you would, just address the viewers and tell them why you need their vote.
I've never accomplished anything in life without hard work. I cannot pretend that the job of district attorney is anything but hard work, but I promise, if elected to the position, to give it my full and concerted effort. Those of you who I have represented, or families I have represented, or who have been a participant in court, know me as an aggressive attorney. I have no other reputation as a lawyer other than as an aggressive advocate. If you don't know anyone who I have represented, ask your law enforcement acquaintances, ask the retired judges, ask the current presiding judges what my reputation is as a trial lawyer, and I believe they will bear out that I will zealously advocate for victims. I will zealously prosecute cases brought by the law enforcement community.
Tim, I know you're very passionate about this campaign. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on our show. Tim Pirtle, candidate for District Attorney for the 31st Judicial District. I'm Raymond Adcock. For this episode of Meet the Candidates, we'll see you next time right back here on BLTV Channel 6.